Sometimes a main event feud hurts more than it helps. This is the Kings of Rise.
This is Ultima.
And this is the new installment of MGT Cast. Weirdly, we're doing two wrestling casts in a row. And
Why? Why not?
And I was on the Twitter, and I came across an IGN list of 6 wrestlers who never recovered after feuding with John Cena.
So, only 6?
Only six. Only 6, and that's like we're going current. So, well, really not. I guess you could say not really current, but here are 6 wrestlers who took a hit from the spot-wise after work. Who took a hit spot-wise after working with Mr. Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect John Cena. Some have bounced back occasionally, but a few have been toiling in the mid-card hell ever since. Wow, did I sound far away?
A little bit.
The first one is The Miz.
Ooh.
Some could argue that The Miz, as an actual WWE champion, was the actual WWE champion at the time, found great success against Cena when he pinned him for the win at WrestleMania. Now, but after losing the title at the following pay-per-view, then feuding with protege Alex Riley, he quickly tumbled to the bottom of the heap.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that one?
The Miz. The Miz...
Now here's another character with just straight bullshittery.
Yeah, no, here's the thing with the, like, it's like, oh yeah, he beat John Cena at WrestleMania, but it was like, okay, let's be honest, The Rock did everything, and then Miz pinned him. I mean, I think Miz is a very good heel, but...
A very good Jericho clone.
Yeah, I don't know, like...
Well, I don't know about a good Jericho clone, but...
I'm not convinced that he would have stayed at the top long, even if it wasn't John Cena that he feuded with. I don't know how much staying power he had as, like, a top heel.
Yeah.
It's nothing against it, but, like, you know, sometimes there's just... And, like, people don't necessarily like this, but, like... Sometimes there is just an it factor. And, like, Miz is a solid wrestler. He's a good heel. But as, like, a top star, I don't see it.
All right.
I don't. So, I don't think... That one, it didn't help. I'll give it that.
Well, not really. But I didn't put the... I decided not to put the timer on this one, so we're just going to move on. The next one is Wade Barrett. And one of the saddest examples of someone fizzling after a major feud with Cena, Wade Barrett's been plagued by injuries and wonky gimmicks ever since his big Nexus angle in 2010. It says many within the industry felt like Barrett and the Nexus program should have been given a bigger, longer push, but what wound up happening, and Barrett still stands as a frightening example of someone finding it hard to climb out of a hole after their first major TV feud with Cena.
Absolutely. They derailed the Nexus and Wade Barrett. Absolutely with John Cena.
Because, you know, half the time with larger groups, it works better for people who are not as well, like, you know, like, we'll just say people who eventually have to leave out because they're not popular.
Yeah.
Like, when you have bigger teams like this, it helps these guys be popular.
Yeah, and, like, and it was clear that, like, Wade Barrett was the leader. Like, it was... They just brought everyone else along to, like, sort of help. Yeah. And, like, it was, you know, it was part of it was just a feud, but it was definitely part of establishing Wade Barrett as a top star. And I think the biggest issue was they never let him really... I don't know. Did he beat Cena? Did he beat Cena specifically? I don't even remember. All I remember was in the end he couldn't beat Cena. They didn't let him beat Orton for the title. And then Miz transitioned into the champion, I think, actually.
Yeah.
After Barrett's. Now, the injuries, obviously, no one can blame John Cena for Wade Barrett's injuries, yada, yada, yada.
But it seemed to kind of fall in place, which was kind of odd.
Yeah, but it's like... It's almost like the Madden curse. It's like...
Yeah.
Is it actually EA's fault?
No. But at least we still have the Water Cup of Doom.
Yeah.
All right. The next one, Dolph Ziggler. In late 2012, when Dolph Ziggler finally landed not only a hot feud with Cena, but AJ Lee at his side, it looked like everyone's favorite bumper was finally getting invited to the big dance. He bested Cena in a ladder match at TLC, but then, despite having Big E in his pocket as backup, he got predictably put down by John Cena in a steel cage match on Raw, episode less than a month later. A few months later, after winning the World Heavyweight Championship to a huge pop at Post-Mania Raw, Ziggler got injured and slid back down the totem pole. So, what do you think about that one?
Dolph Ziggler. God, he's just like always the right guy at the wrong time. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like it feels that way. I mean, he saved us all from the Authority.
Yeah.
And all that. He's fantastic.
Yeah. All of this is another one, like, it just seems like the issue is, and like there's a lot of issues with this one. Obviously, Jack Swagger freaking legit kicks him in the face, gives him a concussion, and he has to, relinquish the title.
Yeah.
But I mean, before that, it's just one of those things. For whatever reason, they refuse to let Cena lose in the end. Like, he always has to be the one to get the last, like the last laugh.
Yeah.
And but it's happened a lot with Ziggler. Cena's not the only one it's happened with. I mean, they just don't seem to be willing.
I think it kind of happened with Alberto Del Rio, didn't it?
Yeah.
When he kicked him in the head and got a concussion again. But anyway.
Yeah. Was it? I thought it was Swagger that gave him the concussion, or maybe they both did.
Yeah, maybe they both did, because like he had that continual concussion problem, like going all the way through.
Yeah. I feel bad for Ziggler because it feels like he should have been more than he was, but I don't know. They for whatever reason they won't. I don't know. They gave him his one chance and it didn't work out just because of injuries, and it's like now he's being punished for it. I don't know.
All right, moving on. Bray Wyatt.
Oh God!
The Wyatt family were one of the hottest, absolute hottest tickets around 2013 to 14. The fact that they existed alongside the Shield in two factions were both able to carve out a significant niche. It still blows people's minds, but while the Shield's reign came to a close due to a larger scale and angle involving Seth Rollins, but a buttload of betrayal, the Wyatt family evaporated into ether because they feuded with Cena. This began at WrestleMania and continued on for two more pay-per-views. Wyatt will win the second round, but when the smoke cleared, the Wyatts were a shell of what they once were. After a few months later, they get split apart and pushed down singles routes.
John Cena destroyed the Wyatt family. Booking, I'll never forget texting your brother, who's the biggest John Cena mark I know. One night's Raw ended with John Cena literally beating all three members of the Wyatt family. And at that point, I knew, I was like, it's over, because they took a great new faction that had a lot of interest, a lot of intrigue, so much potential, and they let you think. See, that's the thing. They always let you think that ultimately, like, oh, this is like the new blood is gonna, finally overtake Cena. But then, like, they'll have like 4 more matches after the first one that Cena will lose, and John Cena just dominates all the rest of the matches. And so it's like you can't even remember that these guys won.
I mean, the Wyatt family did beat the Shield. That was the nicer part of the nicer part of the deal.
Yeah. Well, I think that actually happened right before the Cena feud, I think.
Yeah.
Because that was Elimination Chamber. Then he fought him at WrestleMania. Yeah. But dude, I mean, part of it was just breaking them up in general. That wasn't a great idea. But like, the problem is like, once you don't beat Cena, it's like, where do you go because it's like, okay, you're obviously not top tier yet, but like we want
Or
to
you're
keep
not
you
top
kind
tier
of,
anymore.
yeah, basically. And it's like, I don't know, like they just had nowhere to go with him after lost to John Cena like 3 times in a row, and then there was the Rollins feud, which I mean not the Rollins, the Ambrose feud, which was just don't even get me started. It's like,
That's for another time.
yeah,
So we'll move on from there. The next one's Rusev.
oh man,
Granted, this wound is still fresh, and honestly, since it's only been a few months, there is no way of truly knowing where Rusev will land. The Bulgarian Brute managed to eke out a win over Cena at Fastlane, but then proceeded to lose to Cena in 3 pay-per-views in a row. He'd not only lose the matches, however, he'd lose Lana as well. So his entire gimmick package, which was super hot coming into 2015, was completely unraveled by his war with Cena. There was even a point since their feud did go on for so long that the fans thought Rusev might actually win back the US title for a brief spell. Nope, Cena clung on to it, and now may even retire it altogether with some kind of unification deal with Rollins' belt. That's not going to happen, uh,
oh god,
but what is your
oh,
thoughts on the Rusev one?
that's another one.
It seems like he's just been thrown into a loop,
Yeah,
like thrown for a loop now that he's lost to Cena and now that he's lost Lana to Dolph Ziggler.
yeah.
Like, where do you go with with a not very good looking Summer Rae, to my opinion. Honestly, I
Well,
really don't like how she looks. Just putting it out there.
yeah. Well, like it's like what do you do? Like now he's just like the thing is like okay, if they had like one more match and Cena won, it's like all right, then maybe like transition him somewhere. But like he lost 3 in a row and like that's all people are seeing is him losing and losing and losing now. So like
Yeah,
what
now all of a sudden let's forget the fact that he was undefeated for a long time.
yeah, like all people have known for the last 3 months is that like he loses to John Cena. That's all they know. That and he's not American.
Yeah,
That's it. That's all they have.
And that Lana should be American now.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was almost gonna be horrible. It felt like they were really gonna do it. And I
You
was
want
so
to know what my theory? I told my sister a theory for that.
yeah.
It's like they're gonna be like, I'm gonna laugh if they do this. I was like, all of a sudden on one Monday or a pay-per-view, Lana's gonna be like, I'm actually American. Rusev had me brainwashed,
Damn.
and Dolph Ziggler broke me out of this brainwashing.
like when CM Punk saved Luke Gallows from his Festus gimmick
Yeah.
because he was on so many drugs that he was entranced until the bell rang. But CM Punk saved him.
Oh God.
Ugh. Like
Oh.
that's the other thing. Like a lot of this also has to do. They are so short sighted with their plans. Is that like Rusev's getting attention right now? Rusev was getting attention because he was in a program with John Cena. But the problem is, once they did that, all they're thinking now is, all right, now what's next for John Cena? They're not thinking, what does Rusev go from here? That's the other thing. They're just like they're so short sighted about it, and it's like,
Well, it'll be like that until John Cena retires.
I hope it's sooner rather than later. But sadly, I don't think that's the case. He's in great shape, so
I mean, he'd have to get a major injury to retire.
I have no comment.
Hey, he'd have to. That's only one of that's a simpler way of going about it, but not that I want him to get hurt or anything because that's kind of fucked up that I would wish injury on someone, but
Yeah,
but like it's
at this rate, that's
the money. It's the money maker, man.
Yeah,
It's what I mean, when John Cena lost to Kevin Owens, like his sales did drop, but despite that, he's still like WWE's biggest moneymaker.
yeah.
So moving on to the last one, this one's kind of weird to me, but it's not. It wasn't actually an official feud. Damian Sandow.
Oh, Because the Money in the Bank thing.
Yeah. Okay. So Damien Sandow never officially feuded with Cena, but after his Raw match with Cena on October 28, 2013, most definitely marks the last time the guy had a great match. Notable match: Sandow cashed in his Money in the Bank contract on Cena and put in one hell of a performance. Alas, he'd fall to Cena and become the second dude in history after Cena to lose after cashing in the briefcase. Sandow had actually been in a huge slump since winning the Money in the Bank case, but his failure to topple Cena, despite having a great match, did nothing to propel him forward. He plummeted to the bottom of the ranks and has remained there ever since, despite getting himself majorly over with his Mizdow gimmick. So
I think they legitimately underestimate the value of just giving. Because here's the other thing, John Cena. I forgot who did it, but someone beat John Cena up before he came out. They really underestimate the value of just giving someone the title for like a month.
Seriously,
because honestly, it's happened with a lot of Money in the Bank winners. Like a lot of them, like because they have the briefcase for whatever reason, that tells booking that like, well, they don't necessarily need to win because then we could just give them the title with the briefcase. And like if you look back in history, a lot of Money in the Bank champions didn't have a ton of success while they were holding on to the briefcase. I remember when Daniel Bryan won it. I remember he was like, I don't want to say an afterthought, but I mean like he hadn't done a whole lot, and then out of nowhere he cashes in on Big Show, and now he's world heavyweight champion, and yes, and Star is born.
yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's just the thing. It's like that crowd wanted Sandow to win. Like they were so ready, and it's like,
well, obviously WWE wasn't.
It's not. You really take the sale like this. I don't mean like the sales like sales figures. I mean like 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 win sales.
Yeah.
Quote. You really take sales out of people when like they think that things are going to be different, and then it's like, just kidding. It's the same. There's a reason LOL Cena wins is a thing. And yeah, Sandow's like, I don't know if Sandow's like the person who's gotten screwed over the most on this list. I think in the end it's probably going to be Rusev, but like seriously, give the belt for a month, man. Have Cena win it back at the next pay-per-view or something.
I know, why is that so hard?
It's like you're the same company who had Kane win the title for 24 hours. You know what I mean? Like, don't act like you have a problem hot-shotting the title around every once in a while. Oh, it's frustrating. I'm worried Kevin Owens is going to fall into this list in the future. God, I hope not.
I mean, given his personality, I think that's going to be a little difficult, but it might just happen.
The only hope is that Triple H seems to be behind him from a managerial standpoint. Triple H is a fan.
So with that said,
yeah,
like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us who you think
John Cena should not feud with.
Who else like that? Obviously this list. There's a lot of them.
Mm.
That are getting, that have got, or is currently getting buried by Cena, whether it happened in the past or is it just started happening now. The curse of Cena, and comment also on hopefully another wrestler that John Cena will not face in his years to come. Hopefully.
Yeah. Lest we forget, Sami Zayn wrestled Cena one time, got hurt.
Yeah, now instead of having Sami Zayn, we have fucking Kevin Owens.
Yeah, blame John Cena for that one too.
So with that said, this is the Kings of Rice.
It's Ultima.
And have a good, peaceful day.
LOL, Cena wins.